Hello YouTube, this is Matt again. Sorry it's been an age and a half since my last report. I've been busy at work, haven't even got anything painted, it's really shit, hate it. Anyway, so Dan was meant to be coming around tonight to play a game with me, this game here, Malifaux. It's going to be awesome, we're going to do a report on it for you. But he sucks, he has to work tonight. See, work always getting in the way, don't get a job, actually do, but hey, whatever. Anyway, yeah, he's got work tonight, so I thought, I put the time aside for some Malifaux, and I've not really explained the game very well to people, and I've not really showed anyone how it plays or anything like that, because I haven't been able to do any battle reports. But I thought maybe to show how it plays better, it might be good if I just sort of do a very quick kind of rundown of how the game plays. So a very few models, just throw them down and play a little bit. It's against myself, so bit sad, but hey, show the YouTube community what it's like. So yeah, I'm just going to probably break this down into a couple of videos, and I'll upload them all tonight, and then you guys can all see what this game's all about. So let's just have a look at the book. Let's just open that up. So Malifaux, bad things happen. Weird Miniatures presents. This is the previous rulebook. I've only got the others on download, which is slightly illegal in places, but what are you going to do? So yeah, a game overview, gorgeous art. It's they like their sort of puppets and mad dolls. So they've got a fair few of them kicking around. That's Seamus the Mad Hatter there. I'll be playing him tonight. That's Rasputin, the other character I've got running tonight. They're the two crews I play, so yeah, sweet art like that, Let's just get a snap of that in there. Oh, that is pretty. Right, anyway. In fact, that's going to go upside down when I upload this bugger. Oh well, let's have a look. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, more gorgeous art. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's just jump straight into some of the pictures of the models and stuff. I don't know if any of you guys have watched my previous videos. There's a brief introduction to Malifaux. So if you have a look there, it'll tell you a bit about Weird Miniatures, which is the company who produced the game. So if you then want to go and check it out, go to their website, weirdgames.net, and have a look. They're pretty good. So these are the models. This is a character called Lady Justice, Perdita. Very nice model. This is the crew my friend Dan plays, so you'll see that quite a bit. Sonia, there's no models on that page. San Francisco, more people from Dan's crew. This is a faction called the Guild. They're kind of fascist humans, mad guys with dynamite. That's a special character. There's a lot of special characters in Malifaux. They make them good fun, but there's good fluff behind the special characters, which is why I'm not too bothered by them. Normally I am, but no, not at the moment. Resurrectionists. This is one of the crews I play. Mad Surgeon, Dr. Douglas McMorning. He's one of their leaders. Nicodem, the Undertaker, another one of their mad leaders. The guy I play, Seamus, the Mad Hatter. Kind of Jack the Ripper meets the Mad Hatter, Necromancer, Slightly. Again, Patron of Pictures. Another Patron of Pictures. Madame Sybil. I'm running her tonight, so I won't gloss over the model, because you're going to see it in a sec anyway. Nurses, Gravedigger, Mortimer, his character, he's pretty cool. Sebastian, the morgue assistant, Punk Zombies, Rotten Bell, I'm running one of them tonight, so again, won't gloss over it too long. Oh, bugger, I'm dropping the book, if you bear with me 1 second. Really should have made more space on the table. Oh well. Anyway, so you get a bit of fluff, it's always nice. Arcanists. This is another faction I'm playing tonight, it's the one which Rasputin comes from, so you got Marcus, he's in charge of beasts. Ramos over there, he's kind of a machinery kind of guy. He's pretty cool. Rasputina here. I love Rasputina. Just ice and explosions. Where can you go wrong? Another page with the pictures. Dogs. Little Blue Man. I'm running one of them, so again I won't gloss over it. No pictures over there. Big Blue Man. I'm running one of them, so again I won't gloss over it. Engine Joss. It's another one of the machinery guys that like Ramos. Mole Men. They're beasts. Bit of a Marcus kind of thing, but I quite like them as well. I'm going to get some for my Rasputina crew. Mad Snakes, this kind of thing. Anyway, this is a sweet model. Just hold that up to the light. It's getting some shine on there. Anyway, check him out on the website. The Steamborg Executioner. Half human, half machine. They're awesome. Neverborn. I'm going to grab you this art, because this art is awesome. Let's see if I can just flatten out the Oh, it's making it worse. Anyway, yeah, see that? That's awesome art. Lilith, Zoraida the Hag, Pandora. Another one of my friends plays her, so you might see a game with him at some point. More balls right there. Bad Juju, massive monster. He's huge. That's a 50mm base he stood on. 50mm. Candy, a little tiny child. She's only got 30mm, so she's tiny. Silurids, more beasts. Baby Cade, I love Baby Cade. He's horrendous. Like a baby with a carving knife who steps things, you know, can't go wrong. Sorry, that's my finger on the camera there, bugger. Told myself I wasn't going to do that. Right, anyway. Sorrows. Yeah, we're getting near the end of the book for pictures. This takes you now. Sweet art again. Full colour, more storyline. Outcasts. Another sweet bit of art to intro the Outcasts. And that was a picture of this guy, who is Leviticus. Probably the hardest master to play in this book, I'd say. He's Battle of Resources. He's really hard. This master is awesome because it's not just this master. It's this one as well. You get two of them. They're pretty cool. And they're known as the Glass Cannon because they're pretty ridiculous when it comes to damage, but they're very fragile. You've got Gremlin. It's the only Gremlin master they've got out at the moment. They've got henchmen for them, but no proper masters. Another page, more pictures. More pictures. Okay. Hans, sniper, bit of art there. Nice picture. Some pictures. Anyway, you get the gist. He's sweet. Check him out. I didn't really give you much on him, did I? There you go. Enjoy. That is one of my favourite models, so let's check that one out again. I love that model. I was a big fan of him. They come in that Victoria's box. That's one of the ones I'm very tempted to pick up next. Oh, they have the Gremlins. They're great fun. So, there you go. Hawk Whisperer. Guy Giant, riding giant pig, little piglets. And that's kind of the end of the book. So that brings you on to the end of that. It's pretty nice. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the battlefield that I've prepared for this game. So you've got kind of some tree line kind of here. Kind of nice bunker building up the top there. Some kind of monument in the centre. Bit of a swamp. Some kind of complex over here, which probably linked in with that. It's a nice little bit of piping, as if there's some kind of pumping station around this monument. More trees out there. It's probably a little bit light for Malifaux, but it'll do fine, you know, it'll do fine. We're not playing a big game. We're literally just showing you the rules. I kind of like to think of storylining behind my games. This is some kind of, I think, Arcanist complex. You know, Ramos has maybe set this up at a time, or just someone part of the Miners and Steamfitters Union. It's now been left derelict because they found what they wanted, and it was probably something to do with this monument in the centre. Seamus has turned up. It's Seamus over there, and those three guys there. It's Seamus's crew, the Resurrectionists, and they want to take back some of the information. They want to see what they can scavenge off the bones of what's left. Rasputina here, she's turned up with her guys to slap them down and show to them the errors of their ways. Okay, so I'm going to show you the crews very briefly. So let's just have a very quick look. We've got Rasputina, bringing 4 soulstones in her cache. So you know, she brings 4 additional soulstones with her when you start the game. I'll explain those in a second. Oh, sorry, my shadow's getting in the way there. Ice Golem. Check him out. He costs me 9 soulstones. So I've weighed this game in at about 15 soulstones. I'll explain that in a second. And this little guy here, again, I'm getting in the shadow. Nice little ice gammon, little blue creature. Zzz, zzz, kind of sound effects. I love my sound effects. Anyway, so she's a master, so she's free, so we don't pay for her. But we pay for him, and he's 9, and we pay for him, and he's 4. So that's 13. You're sort of suddenly going a bit mad. It's 15. You know, you're now at a 2 soulstone disadvantage. That's where this comes into it. It's a little pile here. So she brings along with her 4 soulstones. See that number there? It's her cache. You can see if I can get a picture of that. Don't know if you can read it. No, you can't really read it. Anyway, it says in the top corner on that model, cache. Well, if you look at a model like this guy, you can see it says cost. You can kind of see that. You can't really see it very well, to be honest. So yeah, she brings 4 with her because she's free. So these are the 4 she brought with her. But we're playing 15 soulstones, and I've only got 13 soulstones in this crew, so I get 2 extra. Soulstones are sort of used to work out who goes first. You can use them to adjust that, and to work out when you want to use like additional damage with a spell or something, with a combat attack or a shooting attack even. Your master, or anyone with the use soulstones abilities, it's majority masters. There's a couple of other models they can do it as well, but it's majority masters. Yeah, so they can use them to boost their attacks. It's a little bit like Focus in War Machine, but not quite the same. Anyway, I'm gonna nip round to the other side of the board, so I'll just keep the camera swooping on that. Sorry about the shaky cam again. Bloody shaky cam. Anyway, let's see how long this can record for. I've not tried. So here you go. You've got Seamus, Madame Sybil, and a Rotten Bell. That is painted to some extent. Anyway, let's get these in the light so you can actually take a good look at them. Madame Sybil there. Disgusting as usual. Tasty. The only model I've finished since my last chat with you guys. The Mad Hatter. Really pleased with how he's come out, guys. Really pleased. As I just roll him across my table. See, I think he looks tasty. I really like the basing scheme as well. I think that's gone pretty well. It's sort of the path with the dead grass on the front of it. And we've just got a random Rotten Bell. See, she's got a bit of a dress going on there, but it's not started yet. Not really painted yet. She's just on the start line. His soulstones here. So, to create the game balance, because all the masters are free, to try and make the masters so that they can be a little bit varied so they're not all the same, they each carry a different soulstone cache. So if I shade that there, you can see Seamus's cache is 2. So he brings with him 2 soulstones. 2 over there. Sybil has a cost of 6, and the Rotten Bell a cost of, she's in the way of it, of 4. For a total of 10, which means he's getting an additional 5. You might think that might be quite a lot. You can have up to 8 in a game this size. 7, for a game probably is a few too many for Seamus, but he does like his soulstones, because although his weaponry and spells are very powerful, his ability to use them is not so great. So he likes to have a lot of these so he can boost those attacks up, so he can make them definitely go off and be very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to call that there. I mean, I've very briefly explained like, how I've put these crews together. I'm going to throw down the mechanics, and we'll do another video in a second that throws us into the game. And we're back. Right, okay, so I'm just going to grab a couple of other bits and bobs we're going to need to play this. I just realised I'd forgotten to do things like pick up pens and stuff. You'll need those to mark off damage on these cards, oops. Yeah, stuff like that. These little counters, you don't actually need counters. Like, a lot of people just use a dice and just take numbers off the dice. D8s are pretty good as eggs. You can't have more than 8 soulstones, but I had these counters lying around, so I've used them. Got a green pen for the Rezzers, a blue pen for the Arcanists. Card sleeves, again, same colour. Card sleeves, very, very useful. These cards are actually exceptionally useful. Like, I'm going to see if I can get one out while you guys are here. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so you've got kind of on the front of the card all the abilities, sort of. These are the abilities, these are the triggers here, these are specialist actions you get, and these are your spells. And you're sort of sat there going, Matt, those can't all be explained in the rulebook. That would mean the rulebook's huge, and we just saw it. It's not. No. These cards. The other side, you get a nice picture of the model and of its cost or cash. But no. These cards are fold out, and inside it explains those abilities. Some of them are explained in the rulebook, some of them are generic, but the bulk of them, they're all explained in here, which is pretty awesome. I'm just going to see if I can get this back in this sleeve one-handed. That's going to be the fun task. Oh, look at that, sorted, job done. Anyway, so what we're now going to do is we're going to flip for mission. Actually, just keep that there. So we're going to have the Arcanist flip first. Now this is one of the weird things in Malifaux. Like, you play 40k, you roll your dice, and you see whether you're playing Seize Ground or Annihilation or Capturing Control, and both players try and do that. You can do that at Malifaux. You flip one and it's called a shared strategy. But you also have this ability where you each flip. So I flip a card here, If I had an opponent, obviously I'm playing myself here, then flip a card there, and that's the mission you're trying to do. So let's do that. And I flip a 4 for the Arcanists, and the Rezzers flip a 1. Let's go and have a look and see what those mean. Oh, getting a shadow of my head. Oh, my laptop's gone to sleep. So this is just a bit of a screenshot of the page. So we've got a treasure hunt for Seamus. That's kind of, he's pretty good at that. And destroy the evidence for Rasputina. We'll just scroll down a little bit. And we'll just have a quick look at what each of those means. So, again, we've got more fluff in this book. This is the order you play things in. You're meant to hire your crew once you've done your strategy and stuff like that, but to be honest, we're just going to play with these quite basic crews, so we don't need to learn about locations, that's all fine. See, there's tons of stuff in here, it's a real pain. I know what treasure hunt is, I just can't remember Destroy the Evidence off the top of my head very well. It's not one I've played very often. Oh, come on, indoor locations. See, there's loads of stuff you get in this book, which is all very nice. It'd be nice though if it could just, give me what I need right now. Let's just have a look. Oh, come on, these keep going on and on forever. Okay, so we're getting there. Oh, special terrain. See, it is all really cool, but right this second, it's not something I need. Sweet art, though. Special events? No. Complete strategies list, here we are. This is exactly what I need. Destroy the evidence. Okay, so we need 3 markers for that, so we'll just jump to my little box here. And we need 1 to represent the treasure. The treasure has to go in the centre of the board, and the other 3 go in other places. So, the centre of the board is roughly there, and then we have to put 1 in my opponent's deployment zone, and 2 within 10 inches of my deployment zone. So, Malifaux played on a 3-foot by 3-foot board, and obviously this is a 4-foot by 4-foot board, so we're just going to ignore the first 6 inches of the table, which actually probably means those trees are actually outside of the deployment, outside off the table. But oh well, now they're definitely not. So we're just going to place 1 bit of evidence like there. That's some evidence. Let's make it pretty cool, actually. Let's have it, again, character, keep it in character. Let's have it. No, I can't quite get it inside the building there. Right, even that's a little bit out. Yeah, let's just pull it back a little bit so it's there. It's inside the Okay, and the other one we need to put within 22 inches of sorry, bear with me. Again, this is a pain to all do. Holding the camera, I need to get better at this. So I need to put it within 22 inches of my table edge. So I'll have 1 out there, and I'll have 1 next to that tree. There we go, right. So, that's the evidence markers down. It said within 10, so we'll pull 1 of these forward. We'll have 1 like out here somewhere. I don't know, that's kind of a cool little triangle. That is within 10, isn't it? Yeah, I'm just going to check it again, aren't I? See, the second I try to do something official and make it look good, within 10 of your opponent's deployment zone. Bugger, I've done it the wrong way around. So they've got to be over here. So we need 1 about there, and 1. We'll have 1 just here on the edge of this building. That looks kind of cool. Right, there we go. That'll do. They can't be within 8 inches of each other. I don't know if this counts as one, but to make sure, we'll just place that over there. As if there's something on that pipe we need to get rid of. Yeah, so there we go, that'll definitely do it nicely. Okay, so we now flip to see who's going to deploy first. So these Arcanists, they flip a 1. These decks have been shuffled. Now, as I mentioned in my previous Malifaux video, Malifaux's not played with dice, she played with this. This is a deck of cards. It's a standard 54 deck of cards, 52 cards and 2 jokers. It has 4 of its own suits. So you've just seen 3 of them there. That's Rams, Tomes, Masks. Ah, come on. Oh, that gives me another mask. I was hoping it would give me the Crow, which is the 4th suit. But it doesn't. I've not, like, pre-built these decks or anything so that they play in a certain way. I'm just going to play it how it is. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, so yeah, we've got an 11 there. That's pretty nice. The Rezzers are choosing who deploys first. Malifaux is an alternating game, so it's 1 model each, 1 model each, 1 model each. We're just going to play a standard deployment, because that's what most people do play. That's what I find myself playing as well. Okay, so let's just drop this tape measure down. That's moving the terrain, that's never good. There we go, got the tape measure down. And let's remove that terrain back. Okay, so we're now going to start deploying. I'm just going to slap the ice golem down there. Okay. Seamus is just going to slap this rotten bell in the doorway. So I'm going to put her up there, and we're just going to remember she's about an inch further back than that. She's just having a bit of a wobble. Okay, I'm not going to bother faffing with the tape measure again. I'm just going to sort of slap stuff down. That's it. It's just a demonstration. So Rasputin is just going to stand next to her ice golem there. And Seamus is going to stand right at the front. He's taking on all comers. Ow! That was my toe smacking into a bit of a building. And this ice cannon, he's just going to shimmy under that, in under there. He's hiding away. He's actually a little bit far forward as well. There we go. Sybil's our last model to go down. Just going to plop him next to Seamus. In fact, I'm going to be cheeky and just switch them 2 around. So then how like that? I just realised that you didn't see any of that because my camera was off at a weird angle. So let's just move these out of the way. Okay, so we're now like set up, we've deployed. So it's a very simple deployment. But I've just realised actually she couldn't even be in that doorway anyway, she'd have to be there. So I'll just stuff it, I'll just place her there. There you go, now she's in the deployment zone. Looking fine. Right, so we're now going to flip to see who goes first. 6 for the Rezzers, and a 1 for the Arcanists. So by the look of it, the Rezzers are taking the first activation. So I'm going to get back to you with their first activation. I'm going to shuffle these cards back into the deck, because that's what you do after all of this. Shuffle the cards back into the deck, you then draw your hand. A hand is 6 cards. What you'll notice is Rasputina's crew will have 7. She has a special ability called Arcane Reservoir, which means she gets 1 more card when she draws her hand. And that's every turn she draws her hand. So yeah, you'll see that happen, and I'll get back to you very shortly. Once more, we are back. Right, I never actually really explained to you the treasure hunt mission or the destroy the evidence mission, so I'm just going to do that very, very briefly. So these are the 3 evidence counters. There's one over here, that one I just pointed out, and that one in their deployment zone. And what I have to do to destroy those is Rasputina's crew have to get a model up to that counter, and then it has to spend one of its active actions. So it's 1 action, everything has 2, we'll explain all that in a second, to destroy that piece of evidence. Let me just remove the counter and they score points on the number they destroy at the end of the game. I've put a little dice on top of the treasure counter, which is this one in the center, because that one is different to these. You can't destroy a treasure counter, you have to collect it, and that's what Seamus' crew over there are trying to do. And they have to collect that and take it back to their deployment zone, and if they get points if they're holding it at the end of the turn, at the end of the game, sorry. It's dependent on whether they're actually holding it or if it's just in their deployment zone. If it's just in your deployment zone, you get 2. If it's you're holding it in your deployment zone, you'll get 4. It's that kind of thing, you know, it's pretty simple. Anyway, so let's head on. We've got Seamus activating first. So I'm going to start by activating Sybil in the center here. And actually, one of the common things with Sybil you'll find, she has a very special action. called, well, actually her Rotten Bells, these girls, have a special action called Companion of Sybil. It's just written down here on their card, the top one, Companion Sybil. Which means when she activates, if they're within 6 inches of Sybil, at the start of the turn, they can activate immediately after. Which is actually pretty awesome, because that way you've got them all sort of going off at the same time, which is nice. Otherwise it's alternating, so I'll take one here, and then there'll be one over there, then one here. So I'm just going to do Sybil's activation. Now Sybil has a walk of 4, and she gets 2 actions, and she can use them for anything. It's very rare you'll find an action which you can only do once. Rasputina has an action she can only do once per turn. We'll get to that in a second. But what Sybil's going to do is she's going to take 2 walk actions. Now she has a trait called Bell. It's a special trait you get in this game, so each of your creatures have a trait. These two have the Bell trait. Seamus just has the Master trait. Oh, and the Grave Robber trait. So anything that can affect Grave Robbers can affect Seamus, anything that can affect Bells can affect Sybil, that kind of thing. And Seamus has an ability which affects Bells, where they get +2 walk if they're within 8 inches of him. So her walk of 4 is increased to 6. So she's going to take a walk, just the one, straight forwards. There we go. So she's right up there. Okay. I've already drawn hands, by the way, so this is Seamus's. I might just flip them over because it doesn't matter. Rasputina's is all the way over there. Now, what I'm going to try and do here, and this is a bit cheeky, with this one, is Seamus's crew is very, very good at treasure hunt. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and see if I can grab treasure hunt on turn 1, like win treasure hunt on the first turn of the game. Yeah, why not? You know, it's something it is possible to do, and this is just a demonstration for you lot. So you'll still see a bit of combat. I'll still throw some things out for some fun, but I'm going to see if I can do it because I think I can. So yeah, she's going to wander up there, and then she's going to wander up a little bit further than that. Why the heck not? She's going to wander all the way up to there. Right, so she's taking a second walk action. She can walk another up to 6 inches, because she gets that +2 walk for the whole turn. It's not just while she's within 8 of Seamus. So she's going to take the second walk as well. And then she's going to cast one of her spells. She has a 0 spell, so she's used both of her actions, but everybody gets a 0 action, which allows them to, it's a free action effectively, you can just do it on top of all your other actions. She's going to do that one, and it's called Call Bell. So she gets to grab any bell, like this girl here, Rotten Bell, within 18 inches and just place it within 3 inches of herself. So she's going to try and cast this. Now she has a casting ability there, you can see, of 6. I don't know if you can see the casting value of that spell, but it is 15. So she needs a 9 or higher of 9 or higher to cast that spell. Now the other thing about it is you can see the little black symbol next to it, that's a mask, which means she has to flip a mask to cast this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and flip a 9 or higher of masks. Might not work, but you know, you never know. Actually, to keep it safe, I'm just going to do it while she's back here. So here it comes. It's a 12. As you can see, I flipped a 12, but upsettingly, it is not of masks. So I'm now going to turn to my hand and have a look. So here's my hand. I've got an 8 of masks, not quite a 9. Bugger. So that spell doesn't go off. So she's then just going to go for another one of her spells. She has a spell called Lure, which lets her pull a model towards her. So she's going to try and lure the Rotten Bell towards her. So it still gets closer to her. It's a lot easier for her to cast this one. She only needs a 14 to cast this one. Sorry, a 12 in fact to cast this one. But yet again, it does require the mask. It also requires the crow, which means there's a little greyed out cross next to it. That's the symbol of the crows. But if you look at her casting ability, she already has a crow. So she doesn't need to flip that one, she counts as having it built in. So she just needs a 6 or higher of masks. Oh look, there it is. There is the 9 of masks that we just needed to cast the previous spell. Seriously guys, I've not set this deck up. So we now get to drag this bell here, her walk towards Sybil. Now her walk is 4, but she's within 8 of Seamus, so she gets +2 walk. So she's actually going 6 inches straight towards Sybil, putting her just there. Okay, now it's that bell's turn, and she can activate. Because as I say, normally it would be alternating activations, so we're going to end Sybil's activation there. I'm just going to turn her card sideways so we know she's activated. So yeah, normally alternating activations, but these two models have companion of each other, so they can both activate if they were within 6 of each other at the start of the turn. So here comes the Rotten Bells activation. She's easily within 8 there of Seamus, so she's just going to go 6 inches towards that treasure. Plopping herself just there. And within 1 inch of it. So she's going to then spend her other action to pick that treasure up. So she just collects the treasure. And this is why Seamus's crew is really quite good at treasure. If you have loads of these Rotten Bells, you can then have them all cast that lure spell. Because they all have it, not just Sybil. In fact, the Rotten Bells are better at casting it than Sybil is. And just drag her back off that. Now she's in a bit of a risky position there. You know, we could maybe go up and do some damage there. But she looks like she's going to do alright from there. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with the Rotten Bell, and that's going to end her activation. So we've now activated 2 models on the Rezzer's side, and I'm afraid they don't have any other companions, so those are the only 2 we can activate for now. We're now going to go and activate a model over on the Arcanist side. So we're going to start by activating the Fearsome Ice Golem. Now, upsettingly, he's very, very slow. He has a walk of, as you can see there on his card, 3, one of the slower models in the game. When he gets there, he hits like a train, but he's very slow. And upsettingly, his ranged attack isn't very long either, so he's probably not going to be in range of that Rotten Bell if he only takes 1 walk action. But if he takes 2 walk actions, he then can't shoot. So it's a swings and roundabouts incident. I'm going to take the 2 walks, because he's a bit of a tank. If he gets there, he'll hurt. So here he comes with his 2 walk actions. Just going to take him, I'm just going to plop him, it's about there. He's then going to activate an ability he has called Bite of Winter. She gives everybody with the Frozen Heart ability, which is her, the little guy who's hiding under here, and himself. So everybody with that ability within 6 inches does +1 damage on targets not wearing armour, which is everyone in Seamus's crew. So that's the Ice Golem done. He's a very simple model to activate. That's his activation over. Now I'm going to go back to Seamus. So we have 1 model left to activate on the Resurrectionist side, which is Seamus himself. Now Seamus is a master, and he's a little bit complex. All the masters have a special ability which is a +1 ability, which means they get an extra action for using it for certain things. Seamus's one is one of the best ones in the game. He gets a +1 fast action. Fast means you can use it on anything. A little bit brutal, but hey, that's the way it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Seamus wander up. He's going to go for 2 walk actions over this way. And then he's going to cast one of his abilities with a range of 12. See that there? That's in range. On the Ice Golem, called Undead Psychosis, which means the Ice Golem will not be able to come within 3 inches of any undead model. Technically for Seamus, he himself does not count as undead. He's alive, but these 2, they're undead. So the Ice Golem won't be able to come charge at these 2, because it's not allowed to, which is pretty handy for Seamus. So he's going to try and cast that. He's got a casting ability of 7, and a crow built into that. Now that's actually quite a good stat for Seamus. That's a good stat all round, but Seamus it's one of his better stats. So his Undead Psychosis goes off on a 15, and you require a crow, but his casting ability has that built in already. So he requires an 8 or higher of any suit. Well, that's a 2, Seamus, so that's not going to do it. But we kind of really want to get this one off, so this is where I'm going to introduce the hand. This is where you pick a card from your hand, and you play it in place of what you've flipped. Now one thing I have realised I haven't done yet is done the resist duel. So at the moment, Seamus has flipped a 9 overall, because he adds his casting ability to that number, that gives him a 9. Let's flip his hand over. The Ice Golem hasn't actually yet to flip. He has a defense against this. Now, this spell you defend against with your willpower. It'll say in there resist, and then what you resist with it. You resist it with your willpower. So he flips a card. The Red Joker. Now that's the best card in the game. That's 14 and any suit you want. And he adds his willpower to that of 5. So he's flipped a 19. Seamus, you need to do something pretty miraculous if you want to beat the Red Joker, my friend. Do you want to beat it that bad, Seamus? That's the question. And the answer is yes, he really does. So he's going to play the highest card in his hand, the 13. And because he's got a casting ability of 7, that takes him to 20, which beats the Red Joker. So although the Red Joker was flipped on that one, that was a good flip for the Red Joker, it still hasn't saved him, I'm afraid. So now the Ice Golem is affected by Undead Psychosis, and he is unable to go within 3 inches of undead models. Quite a powerful ability there from Seamus. So I'm going to take it back over here, and we're going to have a look at Rasputina and see what she can do. What can she save from this situation, which is beginning to go a bit downhill, to be honest, for the Arcanists. So she's going to take 2 walk actions. One to there, and then another one she's going to take straight forward. So she's a little bit forward there. And then she's going to use a couple of her abilities. Now she's got a couple of cheeky ones she can do here. So the person with the treasure is stood on a piece of terrain at the moment. So we need another turn to try and kill that person. So she's going to use her ability Freeze Over on this piece of terrain. It's a 0 action, so this is her free action. And what that ability does is it means models touching this piece of terrain that do not have the Frozen Heart ability, again, all 3 of these have that ability, and cannot move until the start of the closing phase. Thinking about it, the start of the closing phase is before they get to move anyway, actually, so that's pointless. Brain, do some thinking. God. Right, okay. What she is going to do, though, is she's going to cast December's Curse, which is a spell that blows stuff up. And she's going to cast that right on the Rotten Bell in the centre there. Let's just check the range on that. It's a 10-inch range spell. Oh, she's definitely got some range there. So we're now going to flip some cards and see what she can do. She needs a 14 to cast this spell, and she has a casting ability of 7 with a built-in tome, so she needs a 7 or higher. Again, the 2 of Masks, that's flying around a lot today. This is another spell you can resist. I'll just show you where the resist is, so you probably can't see it in there. The first number you have is the CC, which is the casting cost, and then next to it you've got the resist, and then you've got the range. So this is a CC 14 with built-in tome. She's got the built-in tome, so that's fine. Resist is DF, which is your defense, and then the range is 10. It's got a little symbol of a pistol next to the range, which counts as a shooting attack. So you now have to flip a card over here, and we need to see what the flip is for the defense. So it's an 8. That puts the Rotten Bell with a total. They have a defense of 3. Not very good defense there, I'm afraid, Rotten Bell. Giving you a defense total of 11. Rasputina really kind of wants to do some damage here, so she's going to cheat some fate. The maximum they can get out to would probably be about the maximum you can get to with that card will be 17. So if I play one of my 10s, I've then hit them there pretty hard, and I'll be able to do them some damage. Because that's a 17, and they're going to need to play the Red Joker to beat me, which I'm afraid they don't have to play. So I'm now on 17, they're on 11, I'm beating them by 6. Now, there's a special table in the book, which I will show you at a later date. I haven't got the book handy right now, it's actually sat under my computer, so I'll show you that in the next activation when we have a melee attack or a shooting attack or something, which denotes how many cards you flip for damage. I can tell you now it's 6, it means you don't flip any extras, and because you can end up with what's called a negative twist or a positive twist. A negative twist means you flip extra cards depending on how many negative twists you have, and you take the lowest. And a positive flip means you flip extra cards, no matter how many, dependent on how many twists you have, and take the highest. Positive and negative twists use cancel each other out. So anyway, I'm going to flip this damage, and then I'm going to have to go for that one. It's weak. Okay, so I'm going to call it there, and we'll note that down in a second, because my battery's about to die. Fail. Hello YouTube, we're back. Right, okay, I actually just finished that turn up, so I've marked the damage down that Rasputina did here to this Rotten Bell over here. I actually noticed I'd made a little bit of a mistake. You know when I was talking there about how she scored a 6 for her overall total, and that meant that 6 is no modifier, so there's no negative twist or positive twist. I forgot that Rotten Bells have an ability called Hard to Wound, which means they automatically put a -1 twist. So I had to flip 2 cards and pick the lowest. So I did weak damage to her, which I've marked off. I'll just spin you around. Grab the Rotten Bells card, so you can see I've marked 3 dots. The reason for that, by the way, is the spell does 2 points of damage, and the Rotten Bell doesn't wear armour, and Rasputina is within 6 inches of that ice golem, so she gets the Bite of Winter ability from him, turning that into 3 points of damage. It's a pretty sweet ability, that one. It's damn useful. Okay, so I continued the turn. I only had one thing left to activate, which was this guy. He just took 2 walk actions and activated Bite of Winter, so that's him done and out of the way. I've taken the liberty to shuffle the decks back in. Oh, I haven't shuffled the Resurrectionist one actually, so if you bear with me 1 second, I will just do that. So, what you're seeing now, so we've got the 2 hands now sorted out. I've just flipped to see who's going first this turn. It's another thing, you flip every turn to see who goes first, which is, another cool little feature. So the Arcanist's there with a 13 of crows, as you can see, that's the suit. And the Rezzers there with 3 of tomes. Now, the Rezzers could use one of their little tokens, their soul stones, to reflip that, but they'd have to beat the 13, and that's not going to happen very easily. So there's only 1 card that can beat it, and only 4 that can equal it, so it's probably not the best thing to give it a go. Probably just hold out and try and take the beating that's going to come down this turn. So the Arcanists are going to start the turn by activating Rasputina, and she's going to start immediately by putting one of her 0 actions straight onto this piece of terrain called Freeze Over. So that now, anyone touching that piece of terrain is... I've just realised I've not even been pointing the camera in the right direction. Right, let's point the camera in the right direction, and then I'll explain. Going to activate Rasputina. She's going to cast a spell called Freeze Over, which is her 0 action, on this piece of terrain. Which means any models that don't have the Frozen Heart ability touching this piece of terrain are unable to activate this turn. It's got to be targeted on a piece of terrain within 6. So it's within 6. And this Rotten Bell here is touching it, so she won't be able to move this turn. It's a pretty sweet rogue ability. She's then going to stay where she is and just try and fry the Rotten Bell. Yeah, I mean, that's probably for the best. So let's do that. She's going to flip a card. She's a 13. That's a pretty good flip there, Rasputina. Pretty damn good flip. Oh, and it's a 13. See, if only he'd taken that Soulstone flip, he would have been reflipping there. But there's no way that the Rotten Bell can beat Rasputina's 20, which is what she's on. Because Rasputina's got +7, the Rotten Bell's only got +3, as we saw in the last video, so the Rotten Bell's got 16 there. Rasputina has a total of 20. So there's a difference of 4. A 4 poses a -1 twist. I still haven't got the book out. I'll do that for the next video. There will be one more part after this. It's probably going to tie it up. It's going to be quite a quick little throwdown of the rules here. I'm going to probably do an in-depth activation here on Seamus, because he's got quite a few little abilities he can do. He can act in combat, he can shoot things. He's pretty good for that kind of thing. So that's what we're probably going to do now. Okay, as the next activation. So she's just saying, I'll get the book out to break that one down. Right, so we're doing a -1 twist because we're not at 6. There's a difference of 4, so that's a -1 twist. And there's a -1 twist from the Hard to Wound ability. On the Rotten Bells, we're flipping 2 additional cards and taking the lowest, so that's 3 cards. So we've got weak, weak, and moderate, so that's weak damage. Now, technically the Bite of Winter ability hasn't been activated this turn, because obviously none of the constructs have gone yet. I'm just going to take a pen and note down on this card 2 further wounds on that Rotten Bell. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn my Casting Expert action. Actually, I'm not going to try and kill it this turn. I think what I'm kind of worried about is what happens when Seamus starts shooting at this guy. So I've just pushed him forward here. Seamus over here starts taking some shots at this guy. So we're going to cast one of our spells at 6-inch range called December's Touch. So it's got a 12-inch range, even better. which gives him armor +2. He already has armor +2, and armor does stack, so I can turn that into armor +4, which is very nice. So let's give that a go. 8. Now she needs an 11 to cast this spell, and she already counts as having a 7, so she needs a 4 or higher, so that's cast. So he is now armor +4. I'm just going to take my pen and just write in there +2. See that? +2. So we know that the Ice Golem is armor +4 right now. The last thing we're going to do is use Rasputina's spell that she can only use once per turn, called Ice Pillars. This is a spell to prevent, which creates terrain within 12 inches of her. She's also going to use her ability called Ice Mirror to cast this through the Ice Golem. She can effectively use any model with Frozen Heart within 6 inches of her at her location. She can pretend she stood with this Ice Golem and cast her spell from there. Now the one disadvantage of this is it does reduce her casting ability to 4. So she's going to try and cast this one. She needs a 10 to cast Ice Pillars, and there's no suit requirements there. So normally she would need a 3, but she suffers the -3 before casting it through the Ice Golem, so she's going to need a 6. And that, my friend, is a 5. So let's put my hand over. Just take a quick look. No, it's not the best hand in the world, is it? See that? You're going to have to take this 7 you've got here, but you didn't even see my hand. It's an awful hand. See that there? That is the Black Joker. He's the worst card in the game. He is a 0, has no suit, and you can't cheat Fate. If he comes up, you can't play a card from your hand, that's called cheating Fate, to replace that card. You can't cheat Fate on the Black Joker. It's pretty nasty. So, I now get to place... Oh, bugger. I'm trouble my tape measure. 2 Ice Pillars, which are these things here, within 12, they've got to be touching each other, of the Ice Golem. And these block line of sight, they're pretty awesome, actually. I might be really cheeky to try and help keep the Ice Golem alive and drop them right in front of shapes like that. It can't be within an inch, so we'll just move them a little bit further forward. But there we go. See, there we go. So they are now in front of him. Those are impassable terrain that you can't see through, so he can't see anything now. He's not in the best of shape there. So that's Rasputina done. She's actually used all of her activate actions this turn. She's cast a damaging spell, she buffed this guy, she dropped these bits of terrain, and she cast that freeze over ability on this piece of terrain. So that's her done for the turn. Quite a powerful turn, even though she didn't move, you can see that. She's got quite a powerful position there. So, it's now Seamus's turn. And he is going to start by activating the Rotten Bell. Now, technically for Seamus, he can't. How do I put this? It's a hard one to explain. Okay, I know what we're going to do. Right. We're going to have this Rotten Bell activate, and it's going to cast Lure on the Ice Golem. So just flip the hand over here so you can see what's going on. Oh, he's also got the Black Joker in his hand. Lucky them this turn, so we're going to cast Lure. Now, Rotten Bells, although they have only a casting ability of 4 with a built-in Crow, they also have a special ability called Seductive, which gives them +4 casting and a mask whenever they try to cast Lure. So they're kind of the Lure experts. So they're going to cast Lure now. So they need a 4 or higher of any suit, because it's a casting ability. They've got to count as having a casting ability of 8 with any suit, and they need to get to 12. So there we go, that puts him on 18, because it's the 8, plus the mask, plus the crows. And now I'm going to see what we get here. So this is a resist with my willpower. The ice golem has a willpower 5, and he drops that to a 15. Now I'm just going to kind of take that, because I think it might be helpful if the ice golem has to move. I'm just going to let the ice golem be moved 3 inches, putting him just about here, if he'll stay there. Which I bet you any money he really won't, but he will. Actually, he's staying there quite a while. Okay, and she's going to actually use her second action to cast the same spell again, because you can do that. You can cast the same spell as many times as you want in this game, unless it's specific, like those Ice Pillar spells, which you can only cast that once per turn. So here comes the defense flip, just because I'm on this side of the board. Here comes the attacking flip. So 17. So yeah, 17 to 10. Again, I'm going to take it just because. No, actually, I'm going to cheat fate to stop that one from happening. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to drop down this 13. This big high card turns us into an 18. So we're now winning by 1. Upsettingly, my opponent, or myself, I'm going to play this 12 from here to make me winning by now winning there. And that's called cheating fate. So the loser of the duel cheats fate first. So I was losing this duel on this side, so I played a card from my hand to replace it. Then the person who was winning the duel can cheat fate. Now, you can cheat fate to a point where you're losing by less, but still not winning. And because that obviously makes the margin different, so the damage flip is different. Obviously, Lure is a spell that doesn't do damage. And then your opponent, who was winning the duel, gets a go, and he can cheat his fate higher, so to increase the difference again. That's kind of how they've worked it, which I find very clever. I like that a lot. I think it's a very nice system. So he's just going to get dragged in further 3 inches, which is not very good for him, because remember, he's been hit by undead psychosis. So he's not allowed to go within 3 inches, so he's going to have to try and run away now, which he's really not happy about. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the Arcanist's turn. They're going to activate the Ice Cannon, this little guy out here. He's going to start by activating Bite of Winter. Okay, then he's going to charge the Rotten Bell, so he'll put himself just about there. So you see, he's just about there. Now he's got a melee radius, that's a nice card. Down here, range of Icy Claw, 1 inch. So let's go and have a look. He is within 1 inch. Excellent. Right, so we can flip to see if he hits. So he's adding his combat bonus to this one. So he's 5, so he's on